But later that same year, he died in the war with Iran. I never saw him again. Even so, he never really left me. Every time I was punished, every time I cried, every time I felt alone, I went to his picture. I would talk to him, complain to him, and tell him how much I needed him. In my heart, he became my role model, the father figure I wished I had. By the time I reached fourth grade, I already carried the weight of countless punishments. I remember one day when the school held a parent-teacher conference. I begged my parents to attend. My mother dismissed me, saying no. I cried, begged, even raised my voice, desperate for one of them to come. But instead of listening, my father woke from his nap, enraged at the noise. He stormed after me, wielding a long metal pole with a hook at the end, the kind we used to pull fruit from the higher branches of our trees. He swung it at me with such force that it nearly broke across my back. I remember running, crying, pleading with him to stop. And as I fled, I saw a neighbor standing outside watching. Their eyes, their face, it's something I can't forget. The mixture of shock, pity, and helplessness burned into me as deeply as the pain itself. Later, when I was in middle school, there was another day that left a mark. I don't remember exactly which grade I was in, maybe the first or second year, but I remember what happened clearly. I had been experimenting, trying to make a wallet out of cigarette boxes, taping them together with duct tape. My father saw the tape I had used and exploded with anger. To him, it was waste. He grabbed a phone cable and whipped me over and over, his voice filled with rage. "You're crazy and I'm crazy. We cannot live in the same house like this. It's either you or me. You will drive me insane, or I will drive you insane." Those words cut deeper than the strikes of the cable. I couldn't believe they came from my father. The man who should have been my protector, my guide, looked at me as if I were his enemy. For me, childhood was never about being nurtured. It was about surviving pain, humiliation, and fear, while clinging to the memory of one person who ever truly loved me, my Uncle Sammer. Outside the house, life wasn't much easier. Baghdad in the 1990s was a place of shortages and sanctions. Food lines, blackouts, empty shelves, these were normal. Neighbors often whispered their complaints quietly, afraid of who might be listening. Yet even in those harsh years, I sometimes envied the children next door. They would play football in the street, their laughter echoing under the dim glow of the streetlights. I wanted to join them, but my father rarely allowed it. He didn't trust the outside world, and when he did, I always returned home fearing his temper. School was my only escape. Even though we had shortages of books and supplies, I loved learning. The classroom felt like a different world, one where I wasn't just the boy who got beaten, but someone who could think, imagine, and maybe become something more. But every time a teacher asked for my parents to come, or when classmates spoke of their families with warmth, I felt the hollow ache inside me. I grew up in a house filled with people, but empty of comfort. The walls echoed with shouting. The room smelled of dust and kerosene lamps during blackouts. And the yard that held so many fruit trees became, for me, a playground and prison. Through it all, I held on to memories of my Uncle Samir. He was the one who lifted me up when I fell, who smiled at me like I mattered. Even after his death, he was still the only one I could talk to when I felt invisible. I would look at his photograph, tears in my eyes, and whisper, I needed you to be here. I can't do this alone. And in those moments, I realized that even in my earliest years, I was already searching for something more than survival. I was searching for someone to believe in me.